Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Well, last week here on Fairfield Today, we talked about the kids at Fisher Catholic and the play they've got coming up. And in just a moment, we're going to stay in the arts field, talk with the Lancaster Community Chorus. And later in the show, we'll be talking with Kathy Kitteridge, a school board member for the Lancaster City Schools, and talk about the new General Sherman project going on, and really the whole school system that is just taking such a dramatic turn here in Lancaster in the last couple of years. It's remarkable for somebody like me who's grown up here and known all these older schools. When I went to school in them, they were older, and now they're all new, they're all changing. Eventually, they'll all be new. We'll talk with Kathy about that in just a few minutes. So again, welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Paul Jasson. And as we mentioned, the Lancaster Community Chorus has a concert coming up this Sunday, actually, out at Crossroads. It worked away a little bit on there. I was thinking about Lancaster Campground. No, that won't work. It's just past the Lancaster Campground. There on your right in there. Clarence McCoy with us. Clarence, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Clarence is the director of the Lancaster Community Chorus. Now, we had last week, we had the young people from Fisher Catholic on and sing. I could have, if I'd have told you ahead, I could have had you come on and sing some of the songs.
Maybe if you had told me ahead.
Big bass voice, that we would have had that. Yeah. But your concert, and we'll show a poster in just a moment, Songs of the People. Mm-hmm. And it's this Sunday, March 26th, 3 p.m. Tickets are $10 and available.
They will be available at the door.
At the door.
At this point, we're just a few days away, but if you can find a chorus member, they can probably sell you a ticket as well. So.
And I would say if you can get there early, I would suggest that, because it's
always a good-sized crowd.
Always a good-sized crowd, and they're always very receptive to this. Songs of the People, perhaps that wouldn't be as well known why it's named for that. Tell us about that.
And honestly, this is a case where it kind of evolved over time. A lot of times when I come up with a theme, I have some specific songs in mind, which I had a few this time. But as I worked on this concert, picking music, seeing what was available, how pieces would fit together, it actually did a lot of evolving. I had thought this would be a lot of like 60s peace songs kind of things going on. That ended up not materializing. I knew there were going to be some spirituals in there, and it kind of went more the folk song route when I did Songs of the People, putting these together, doing some great spirituals, some old spirituals, doing Ain't That Good News, Ride the Chariot, kind of classics. A newer arrangement of Elijah Rock by Moses Hogan is going to be the grand finale of the concert. And then we open up with Hark I Hear the Harp's Eternal, which is kind of an Appalachian folk song hymn. All of those actually are a cappella. It's kind of a challenging program this time, in that a lot of the music is in fact a cappella, and the group is responding well to that. But we're also doing folk songs like Nellie Bly, The Road Home, Old Dan Tucker, Buffalo Gals, great arrangement of that. But we did get a little 60s tune in there, and then we got the Harry Belafonte tune, Turn the World Around. It's going to be a big party near the end of the concert.
And Dust in the Wind?
Dust in the Wind, absolutely.
That's kind of a, 70s, when I was looking at the songs in there, that's one a little bit different from most of them in there.
It is, and so is Turn the World Around. I think the whole second half of the concert kind of does a whirlwind going through different genres. So
it's interesting you say it surprised you, and you picked the music.
I did.
So it surprised even you, the turn that it took.
Well, as I look at it, I think, okay, I want to include this song, but as I'm putting the list of songs together, I think that doesn't fit very well there. So let's try something else instead. And eventually that first song that I had planned to use doesn't make it in at all. And a different one. And then once that one in there, that kind of changes the dynamic. And that's kind of where the folk song stuff came from. I started, well, if we're going to do this folk song, we should probably include this one as an alternative to that, a different kind. And that's how it evolved through time. The spirituals, actually, all of those were chosen ahead of time. The opening song, Hark I Hear the Harp's Eternal, that was the last one added in. We didn't have anything in there that I thought was a good opening song for the concert. So I looked for something that would kind of fit the theme. Found that one. We actually did that one several years ago, and pulled it back out, and that's just how it evolved.
So some of the songs originally didn't even make the cut then?
No, absolutely. Yeah, some of the ones I originally intended to sing are not here at all.
Now, how long ago did you pick these tunes? I know you've had this planned out for quite a while.
That's correct. Yeah, it's months. Now, I I continue to tinker with it up until the point that I hand the music out.
Then you can't tinker
and
anymore.
then I can't tinker anymore. Exactly right. But it's been a couple of months that it was pretty much set. Some songs, the next concert that we're doing, which is all Disney stuff, that stuff's been set for a while.
Yeah,
So it just depends on the concert how it evolves. So.
Clarence McCoy is our guest. Clarence is the artistic director of the Lancaster Community Chorus. This is a group that has evolved over the years. Can you give us a little history? I know where we are now, but how did we get to be
Sure.
the
Yeah,
Lancaster
it kind of
Community
came
Chorus?
from a couple of previous groups. It's its own entity now. Each time that this has happened, it's kind of stopped and reformed as a new group. But the original group that was the genesis of this was the Unity Singers that had been around since the late '60s.
Mary Jo Stratton.
Mary Jo Stratton
Right.
directed that, and I actually sang in the Unity Singers their last year of existence.
I narrated.
That's
in a
right.
concert in
Exactly.
there, I did a little
That's
bit.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then when Mary Jo decided to retire, that group disbanded. But many of the singers who were in there wanted to continue singing. So then we formed the Celebration Singers, and they selected me as the director at that point, 1992. Very much younger man at that point, and that group existed for 20 years. And then things were numbers were down a little bit in the group, so we were looking at ways to reinvent that. I had come back, I directed the first 9 years of the group, and then came back at the end. And then we decided to reform in this format that we're using, and that's working really well for us. It's going to be our largest group ever singing for the concert. There's well over 70 of us singing for this concert. So, things are healthy, and the group's sounding good, and the current format works for us.
Is this community chorus format that you have now with Lancaster, is that something you see now in cities around like Newark or I don't know, other towns around Zanesville? Would all towns roughly our size have a group like this?
They're not all auditioned like we are.
Okay.
A lot of them are the y'all come choir where they just
okay.
This is when we're going to practice, and a lot of them don't do the thing that we do with compartmentalizing, where we practice for just a certain number of weeks and then do the concert. But there are certainly others that follow this format. I copied a lot of what we do from the Coshocton Community Chorus,
Okay.
which has been around since the early 70s. Same director, Chuck Snyder, does a great job there, and I actually contacted them when we were looking at this to find out their format, and some of what we do comes from what they do, although again we do the compartmentalized thing with the 8 weeks and sing a concert and then take time off, which I think works for a lot of people in our busy society today, to get those weeks off in between things. So.
Well, this Sunday is Songs of the People, and we'll get back on that in just a moment. But then you talk about an audition choir. After that, the Disney concert is 8 weeks, well, probably more than that, or is it?
Yeah, it's good. It's about 10 weeks
10
later.
weeks away.
Yeah.
But then there's an audition process. If anyone is interested, and you're always looking to add, because people, for many reasons, have to drop out or even not able to go with the next concert. They can't stay.
That's correct.
But you're always interested in new voices being auditioned.
Absolutely. We audition before every concert prep.
Yeah.
There's always at least one day of auditions. This one we're going to have to squeeze it in there because of Easter, and we start the week after Easter, so it's not going to be quite the same format we've done before. But there's information on our website always about the auditions, lancastercommunitychorus.com, and that lets you know how to contact us to schedule an audition time. Auditions are fairly brief. We just check to make sure you have the skills that you need in order to be successful, and then we look at where we are balance-wise and what voice parts we need, and go from there. So.
Aaron, let me hold this up so you can get a good. We have a lovely poster here. Songs of the People. It's this Sunday at 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock out at Crossroads. It's a wonderful venue out there, comfortable seating, a nice place to have a concert. It's just a great place out there to have it. Again, it'll be a large crowd, so I would suggest if you haven't gotten your tickets, I would get there early.
Absolutely.
To get them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you look at Crossroads, that's turned out to be a wonderful venue, I think, for your group. It has the size to, and I know it's been packed in there sometimes.
It has.
I especially remember a couple of years ago you did the Veterans Concert. I don't know if that was the biggest one, but that was a very large one, and there were just people everywhere.
We were bursting at the seams.
What a
that
nice
day.
problem.
It was, absolutely.
Oh, my.
As a matter of fact, now that you bring that up, actually the next two falls, the date that would be our concert fall very near Veterans Day. In fact, in 2 years it's on Veterans Day, and this fall it's on the day after Veterans Day. So we're going to repeat doing patriotic concerts on those days, and we're actually going to move them to Faith Memorial because we were so full at Crossroads. So those two concerts are actually going to be out there, which we could fit some more people in there, and that will be good. So.
Well, tell us about the tickets again. How could anybody that wants tickets obtain them?
You can call Joni Young, who is one of our officers. Her number is 740-653-4645. 5207, and she can make arrangements to have will call tickets at the door. Any community chorus member, if you know anyone, can get you tickets, or there's also information on our website, lancastercommunitychorus.com.
And I think we talk about a couple of things here about every time you're on. One is, gosh, what an opportunity for people that, young people, and I know there are some young people in the group that are still in high school and some just out of high school, but opportunities in Lancaster in terms of the Lancaster Chorale, the community chorus, the men's chorus, One Voice, who's having a concert coming up too. Mary Jo Stratton is over that now. Lots of different opportunities.
Fairfield Youth Choir.
Fairfield Youth Choir, and Andrew Brown does such a great job there. So in a town our size, there are lots of opportunities for people who maybe at one time that was over. If you're out of high school, maybe go away to college, you were done.
That's right, and a lot of people who have auditioned for us say, I haven't sung for X number of years, it's been a long time, but I really want to sing again. And you know, these groups are wonderful opportunities for those. Another quick plug, on our June concert, the Disney Delights, Lancaster Fairfield Youth Choir is going to join us. They're going to be our guest artists on that, and then we'll get to sing something together at the end, and that will be fun.
They are, and that kind of leads us into some young people singing with Andrew Brown, the youth choir, but your wife, the high school kids, another great year.
Indeed.
I've seen some of the kids, I've seen some of the things going on. Wow.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, we had our district large group contest where we took some of our choirs. There are 5 choirs during the high school day, and then the singing gales after 6. We took 4 of those choirs to large group contest. All 4 received superior ratings at district contest, unanimous superiors. Every judge gave them a superior rating, and now they've qualified for state contest, and we'll go on to that at the end of April. So,
give a plug here for Sandy.
Absolutely.
Does such a great
Let me
job.
brag just a little bit for her.
That's exactly right, and everyone knows if you're involved in Lancaster music, Sandy does such a great job, and Clarence handles the guys, she handles the girls. That how it kind of works out?
Yeah, I direct the men's chorus, and she does the others. Yeah.
Well, they do a great job, so we're looking for the Andrew Brown and the youth choir to join.
Absolutely.
They are tremendous. They do a great job, and Andrew does that, kind of the young part of the Lancaster Chorale. So again, it's this Sunday, March 26th, 3 p.m. out at Crossroads. Be a full house, we have no doubt.
And no doubt, and it'll be a good show.
Be a good
Fun
show.
Music,
Oh yeah, a lot of good things. If you like that spiritual feel, there are some really get your blood stirring on a couple of those songs.
Absolutely.
They're going to be great fun. Clarence, thank you for joining us.
Paul.
We appreciate it. Lancaster Community Chorus this Sunday, Songs of the People, 3 p.m. out at Crossroads. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Paul Jasson. Again, thanks to Clarence McCoy coming down talking about Lancaster Community Chorus. We'll change gears a little bit here as we telecast today from Fairfield Federal and their downtown location. Remind you that they also have places over on the west side at Fair and Pierce, and then up at Cross Creeks Boulevard in Pickerington. So fairfieldfederal.com. Great place to look as we move into hopefully the spring of the year is coming along here, and things will look to outside, maybe some renovations, some things going on around your house. If you're looking to do some of that, purchase a new home, fairfieldfederal.com is a great place to go. They're local bankers that will make local decisions, so that's a good place to start, fairfieldfederal.com. Well, we're going to change from the arts to Lancaster Community Chorus to the Lancaster City Schools. It's a pleasure to have Kathy Kittredge. Kathy, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Jerry Rainey, business manager for the Lancaster City Schools. Kathy, thank you for joining us, Jerry. Appreciate that. Kathy's a school board member, and I've been leaning on Kathy for months and months. I'm sure she's tired of seeing my text come up because when is Sherman going to be named? When is Sherman going to be named? And I was talking before, had Steve Wigton on maybe a month ago, I'm not sure. The day after I get Wig on, the announcement comes out. So he would not share that, but we get to talk about it now first with Kathy, who's been so gracious to come on today along with Jerry. So first of all, thank you for joining us, and what an exciting time to get that announcement from General Sherman. My goodness, it was worth the wait, I think.
It was long overdue. We spent over a year looking for property, and one thing after another, it just, we thought, what are we going to do? And then we got some.
Well, it came about, and I guess you never know, Jerry. I mean, things you keep, well, can we go here? Can we go there? Nothing's worked out. All of a sudden, I don't know if it pops up that quickly, but all of a sudden it was there.
It did kind of pop up that quickly, but
Really?
it didn't seem like it.
Yeah, after a year, it was instantaneous, you know, that's right, that's right.
Exactly.
What a wonderful location out there, though. I mean, you've got plenty of room to build, and we're talking out at Timber Top. At least I remember it as that when Cy Fulton, who was ingrained in the Lancaster City schools
Exactly.
with Fulton Field and the school at the high
Fulton
school.
relays.
Everything
Yeah.
was all about the Fultons, especially when I was going in. It was all brand new back then. They were so great and gracious for the Lancaster City schools. And now the Muses, who own that home out there, kind of that same concept where they're nice enough to get involved.
They have
Yes.
been. We've been very fortunate, and to have 83 and a half
Yeah,
acres to build a new junior high school on. And of course, we have designs on some other things that need to move there. But we are so excited about this, and to have it so close in town and to tie into the old Talmadge property or Tarhee property just creates volumes of opportunities for us.
Well, first of all, Jerry, we get Thomas Ewing. We get that announcement a while back, and now we get General Sherman. Things just keep getting easier in your job as the business manager. It's easy. Well, good. We'll just build a school here. It won't cost any money. But the Lancaster City schools, and I was mentioning that, from the time I remember, and again, this is my school system too, from the time I remember when all the schools, we only had north, east, west, and south, and eventually Talmadge came in, and then some others. But what a dramatic change, especially in the last few years. It's been dramatic, I think.
It really has. I went to school here. I went to Medill, and now seeing the brand new Medill on that site is just wonderful. It's
And
great.
what a school. I will say that about that school. I drive there a good bit going home, coming in and coming out. When you see that place down there, that is remarkable
Isn't it?
looking
Oh.
facility. You can't even imagine that the school you went to, this is it.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Oh my, it's amazing. Now, when we talk about Ewing, well, I know right now, if you look at Sherman and Ewing, I always thought they looked very similar, except Sherman had 2 stories, Ewing had 1. Maybe that was a land thing back in the day. Maybe that was why they had to go up. But will the 2 junior highs be very similar in their looks, or do we know that far yet?
Well, we're working on trying to make them prototypes.
Okay.
So that the 2 buildings will be exactly the same.
All right.
They may orient differently on the properties, but, again, it's a little early to tell, but that's what our goal is at this point.
Yeah, well, very exciting, and I will say that about the Lancaster City School folks. Steve Poston and Scott Burry, young men that I know very well. I can imagine how excited they are.
Products
to
of Lancaster
and,
City
and
schools
to have both
again.
have gone through these schools themselves, and like you folks did, and here they are getting to see new junior highs. I bet you probably can't pinch them and get a reaction. They're probably so excited.
They are. They
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so now, Tarhee is still open?
The old Tarhee,
The old
yes.
Tarhee is
It's
still
our
open.
preschool,
Okay.
one of our preschools. And Sanderson, we will be expanding into Sanderson Elementary.
That's up on Cells?
Off of Sells
Right.
and Marietta Road.
Okay.
And that will become our second preschool.
Okay.
So we're utilizing buildings for repurposes, and we just sold west.
Right?
And
And we have 1 left, and that's east.
Yes.
And that's going to be up for auction.
Yeah,
here
'cause
in
Cedar
next
Heights
month.
already went.
Yep.
Cedar Heights
went to
Meals on
Meals
Wheels.
Meals on Wheels. South went to the Community Health.
Yes.
Fairfield Community Health. And West has gone to a church. I think a church purchased
Victory.
that. And so what's left then, you say?
East.
East. And that will go up soon, or?
Sometime in April.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
April, May. We're having to follow the law on how they dictate that we
Sure,
dispose
sure.
of that property. But right now, it looks like it's going to be end of April, beginning May.
And I know one thing that Superintendent Steve Wigton, when I had him on, one thing, and he said this a couple of times, how much, they appreciate, passing the levies, and not that more won't be coming, because we're doing a tremendous amount of restructuring here in the schools, but kind of an open process and letting everybody know they appreciate all the passage of the money that's come to the schools, and they want to be good stewards of that
Absolutely.
money, and let everybody see where that money's going, that the money they've got, they are appreciative, but it's going to be used as people think it should be.
Exactly. The board really is very sensitive to utilizing the money to the maximum potential that we can squeeze out of it. What all can we get for the least amount of money? But not the least, but we want to offer the best to our students, to our community, and that's really one of the paradigms that we have since the levies have passed.
Now, of the new schools that have been opened, the only one I've seen was Talmadge. I was at the grand opening. I've been there, state of the art, and I'm sure all of the new schools are like that. Will the junior highs be, if it's even possible, more state of the art? Have things changed that much in the couple years since they've been open? Will there be that much difference?
You're going to see a little bit of difference,
Yeah.
possibly in like the projectors in the room, maybe flat screens, that kind of thing. We're looking at that now to see if that's something that's viable. But as far as the HVAC controls, the lighting, and that kind of thing, it's pretty much going to be like the elementaries, which we can control that lighting, and it's all on dimmers. We try to harvest the outside light so that we use less lighting, less energy. So they're pretty state-of-the-art at this point.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to remember, we're going from an elementary situation to a junior high situation, which just class-wise, because we're introducing all of the sciences and that sort of thing, the building has to be a little more technically upgraded than an elementary would need.
Speaking with Kathy Kitteridge, a school board member, Jerry Rainey, the business manager for the Lancaster City Schools, and that kind of evolves into, we've seen all the elementaries change, will there be new preschools, kind of a shift in how that's going. We're seeing that Thomas Ewing was suggested out on Sheridan Drive, and I've seen surveyors out there. Things probably for long get going there.
Well, we're planning on breaking ground about spring of 18.
Right, exactly.
So it's
year
still a
from
ways
now.
off.
Oh,
Right.
the
Sure.
design process takes so much time, and the state has to approve all of these different
And you only get one chance to
steps
do it
and-
right, and
That's right.
and that's how I'm sure you want
That's
it.
right.
You don't want to
So-
rush it.
No, yeah, we've waited this long. Let's get it
Right,
right.
yeah.
So we've got. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Jay Nauman and Diane Garlinger, two of our newest board members, are on the design team for the junior highs because Mrs. Ricketts and Mrs. Iman and I had already been on design teams for the elementaries. So we wanted to give them the opportunity to help design the junior highs. And so it is a whole 12-month process to get this done.
Yeah, and right now we're in what they call schematic design phase.
Okay.
So it's a lot of bubbles on paper, kind of seeing how we want to lay it out, and the principals and their committees from the teachers.
They have they have a lot of input, I hope.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They're at every meeting,
Well, that's great.
and they're talking about what they'd like to
No
see.
surprises.
No surprises. That's right. That's right.
So again, Thomas Ewing be out there on Sheridan Drive, that big open field out there before you get to Rainbow. Sherman now been designated for Timber Top on North Columbus out there, a wonderful 80-plus
83 and a half acres.
83 acres of location out there. That's where we're going. So I guess that just leaves the very fine 1964 first year Lancaster High School. I was there, I know. I went there the first day. I remember when it opened, and I've always said this. There have been several schools that have around here that were open after Lancaster, and they're gone. And I will say this about Lancaster High School, that is still quite a school.
It was built to last.
It was built to last, but I think they've done a good job. Speaking of stewards, the principals from Fred Lowry up to Jack now, the administration, the kids have done a good job of keeping that. I know you've updated, you've upgraded, but that's really a pretty good school at this point.
It
Now,
is.
50-plus years later.
It's reached its maximum
Sure.
usage
Yeah.
and upgradability.
So time to move on. Any thoughts about how any of that will work once Thomas Ewing moves out? Or are we talking about, and again, pie in the sky stuff. We're
Yeah.
not pinning you down, but we're probably talking about more perhaps money needed and things moving
certainly.
on. Yeah.
Certainly
Yeah.
another levy to build the high school.
Well, considering what you've done with that first levy, it's pretty remarkable.
It
When you look
is.
at all this around here
It
that's
is.
going on.
We've done very well, and our timing was very fortunate in that we had low interest rates. We were able to be out in
Economy kind of turned in your favor. a
It
little
did.
bit,
The
yeah.
economy really worked in our favor. So we'll see how things go for the high school, and it's going to be a real puzzle. How do we get the kids, how do we still educate the kids and build a new building?
Because I guess that's the first priority.
It is.
You don't want to impinge on their.
We can't close school for 2 years.
Right. That's why we work. So far it's worked out pretty good. Schools have been
It
open on
has.
schedule, ahead of schedule in some cases,
Exactly.
and you've been able to keep everything moving along pretty good.
We
And
have.
under budget.
Yeah, and under budget. I think that's important to know. Again, Superintendent
Jerry.
Wigton said that, they've done what they can. You've done
We have
everything you
done.
can, as you indicated, wring the money out, get everything going here. Have to be pretty pleased this many years into this levy and still going.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. And that money left over is going toward the junior highs, and then hopefully have money left over to go for the high school.
Wow. It's been a heck of a run these last few years that we've,
Has.
again, I don't think I would have ever expected, when they built General Sherman and Thomas Ewing, I thought that was a state-of-the-art schools, and it was.
It was
And
back then.
I give my wife's uncle a plug right there. Dwight Kane was the first principal he was my principal at General Sherman. He was the first, he was at West, and then he moved to General Sherman when it opened up in the 50s. But then the Lancaster High School opened up, what they count, 1964. Nothing nicer than that. But now, 50 plus years later, it's things change, and I guess the students are very fortunate to have a school board and administrative people and principals who are as dedicated to keeping them, because they know things have to change to keep these kids.
On top
That's right. To be where they are.
for the business world and the world that they're going into, they need the top level of education.
Well, we think you're doing your part.
Thank you.
Kids stay home and study, because
That's right.
the administrators and the school board are doing their part. So Jerry, Kathy, thank you for joining us.
Very welcome.
And an
Thank
update on
you.
the Lancaster City Schools. Ewing is going to be moving on quickly. Eventually, General Sherman will get going, and then we'll see where Lancaster High School falls. So we still got a heck of a run out there ahead of us.
Yes, we
It's
do.
not over yet.
No,
So
it
again,
isn't.
we'll be back to chat later. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.